a terrorist ring. And so we changed this. We bring a big initiative December 2020, just before COVID comes. COVID was there, but China not here. But COVID comes to Europe. In December 2020, we had a majority in the German parliament, in Berlin, Bundestag, and we said, Hezbollah, the terrorist organization, we have no two-wing, if only a terrorist organization, and the next step is we forbid Hezbollah organizations in Germany. Up to now, they collect money, it's illegal, practical, with I think 100 million US dollar per year, every year, 100 million, car selling, prostitution and so on. And and with our initiative, the police and the justice now have the chance to say that's not allowed because you're a member of a Hezbollah organization. And this is amazing. Now we have a Hezbollah as terrorist organization, and we say it is forbidden in Germany. And this is I hope very much that our initiatives, UN, BDS, Hezbollah, UNRWA, not only is a thing from Germany. We know our friends, Mark Rutte in Netherlands, is a big friend from me. I learned a lot of him. We have Austria, and I hope we have Poland and Russia. I hope we all come together with Paris, and then we should bring all these initiatives. And this is the message for today for me. We want to bring all these initiatives to the European Parliament. That we change the narrative in politics when it comes to Israel, not from every country, but from the top. We change it from the top. And so I'm very close to Nicola Beer. She's the vice president in the European Parliament of my party group. And she knows every initiative, of course, because she was my colleague in the parliament. And then you should change this, and then we can change this narrative to Israel, and because it's a very, very important. And I want to say, you have the chance. If you have the power, you only have to do this. Get an action, and do, and close the gap between saying and doing. Thank you.
This is why he's a friend. Sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, I'm sorry. We're really running. We're running, I guess. Okay. We're really running. 1 second. We're really running behind schedule, and we have some members of Parliament that haven't spoken yet, and they came all the way from different countries just to join us. Okay. Thank you. So we just heard from Senator from France. We heard from the Member of Parliament from Germany, specifically the two resolutions that MEP Frank Müller-Rosentritt mentioned are resolutions that we're hoping that other parliaments will be able to implement also. But now we have the pleasure and the honor of hearing from Poland the Senator and Deputy Marshal of the Senate of Poland, Mr. Kamiński. Thank you. Please.
Thank you very much indeed. It is a great honor for me because it is actually my first public appearance in Brussels since 2014 when I quit European Parliament and returned to the Polish politics. But one of my last initiatives, ending my 11 years work in the European Parliament, was an initiative directed against financing by the European Union a so-called Palestinian state. What I did in the European Parliament 7 years ago, it was, I think, delivering a proof that according to the laws of a so-called Palestinian state, they have a complicated, however clear system of compensation to the families of the terrorists who are killing Jews. And this system in the so-called Palestinian state is based purely on the numbers of killed Jews. No, you are not mistaken. Today, in today's world, are so-called states who are paying per head for killing Jews. And what I was demanding at that time, and what I'm demanding now, is to stop to give any penny from European taxpayers' money to so-called Palestinian state. Because we don't know, we have no control where the money is going to. And so before my permanent message to the European Commission is, before we together will fight against anti-Semites in Europe, please stop finance now the people who are killing Jews today, tomorrow, because that's the real problem. And I can tell you, when I first came to the European Parliament, first as an observer for Poland in 2003, then I was in the first wave of new elected Poles to the European Parliament in 2004. Having a tradition in Poland to fight against old-style anti-Semitism and being prepared for such a fight, having all the arguments and knowing how to do it, I was really shocked how deep in the European Union of 2004 was a new anti-Semitism directed against the only liberal democracy in the Middle East, which means against Israel. Till today, we can say that the only political system which is allowing Arab people of a Muslim religion to elect freely their representatives to their parliament is a state of Israel. There is no other country in the world, I mean in this part of the world, in which the Arab population can freely elect their representatives to the legislative bodies. And so I was amazed why such a liberal democracy is hated together by a far right and not only far left. And I think that it was the picture of Europe 2004, and today the situation is even worse. Because in 2004, ladies and gentlemen, me and I think many of you, we think that we are entering a new era, new Europe, with enlarged Europe. We think that our values won, that the Cold War is won, but also the war against old-style nationalism, against all the demons of the 20th century are won. And what we are seeing today, it is unfortunately not won. We are facing the same problems as a liberal democracy in Germany, in Poland, in the United States of America, and here in Europe. All over Europe, there is a fight in which the topic which we are discussing today is very important, because there is no better environment in which we can protect people from anti-Semitism than a normally functioning liberal democracy. There is no other system in which we can protect freedom of people as liberal democracy. And the liberal democracy is now in danger. It is in danger in the United States of America, unfortunately, it is in danger in my country, in which we are facing now, as you probably know, even the unheard before perspective of leaving the European Union. But what I would like to leave after my speech with you is my deepest commitment to the idea that freedom and those who love freedom will prevail. We will win at the end. And I think that the strength of history, of the perspective we should have in Europe, will give us the power to win against the same dangers, against the same enemies which once created a nightmare in Europe. Because when you are returning back to 30s, back to 20s, to Germany, to Poland, to Austria, or even to United Kingdom, or even to United States of America, when you see how many decent people of that time, they were just open to Hitler's ideas. How many of them they were saying, okay, we are not agree with Hitler fully, but he's a democratically elected person, he has his own supporters, there is a democracy, we have a freedom of speech, so on, so on. How many British aristocrats admired Hitler at that time? They flirted with the Nazis' ideas. And we are seeing it today. When you see well-established center politicians from both left and right, and they are also saying, we are open to discuss with so-called Palestinian politicians, however many of them are real terrorists, where they are telling, no, we have to understand that the people have deepest anti-immigrant feelings, because okay, we can understand why they have those feelings, but we should not follow the hatred. So I think that we will win because we learned our lessons. And I would like, however, at the end, I would like to underline how important it is that we will keep this very imperfect institution as the European Union as a living institution. And deepening the European integration is an answer also for the problems we are raising today. Because more, however smart, integrated Europe, because more integration doesn't mean more bureaucracy. So more smart integrated Europe, which more based on traditional liberal values, Europe will be better prepared to fight against anti-Semitism and will be better prepared to be a strong ally of the State of Israel. Thank you very much.
Now you understand why I call them friends, such a clear and vocal support for the Jewish people and obviously the State of Israel. We heard from Poland, from France and from Germany. I think we have to be fair and include some Mediterranean countries, if it's okay. I will briefly ask a member of the European Parliament, Mrs. Anna Michel Asimakopoulou, to join us, and also from Italy, Senator Francesco, let me just pronounce it correctly. My colleagues, maybe they can help me with the name. Francesco Bertuzzi, thank you. you understand? Like he was supposed to give something, but he didn't.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank you.
Thank you, and does it work?
Yes.
Thank you and good morning. I'm delighted to be here today, and it's just so incredibly encouraging and inspiring to hear so many prominent politicians from across many countries who have come here today to join voices to support the state of Israel and to combat anti-Semitism. As a member of the European Parliament, I know it doesn't sound like it, but I represent the country of Greece. As a member of the European Parliament and of Jewish origin myself, I am delighted to be co-chairing the Transatlantic Friends of Israel network. We have fought the fight for Hezbollah to be designated a terrorist organization in its entirety, as it should be. We have fought the fight to end discrimination against Israel in the United Nations, especially in the Human Rights Committee. We are fighting the fight now in the European Parliament to make sure that funding to UNRWA is conditional upon withdrawal of textbooks that have anti-Semitic content. And we will continue with these great fights. I'm so delighted that I am here today with my former colleague in the Greek Parliament and former minister in the Greek government, a very prominent political figure in my country who was instrumental in working with us, firstly to abolish Golden Dawn, which was our Nazi party, and secondly, responsible with his efforts in making sure that anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial are criminalized in our country. I'm sure Minister Karagounis will tell you about that. Let me please, once again, thank him for being so instrumental in supporting Israel and our common cause. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I welcome that today the anti-Semitism policy of the European Union is being presented, and there's a conference in Malmö. But the sad thing is that one is needed. That's the sad thing. The sad thing is that almost 80% of Jews in Europe can feel the rise of anti-Semitism, and almost 40% are thinking that at some point they may actually have to move because of anti-Semitism. Therefore, I once again commend this excellent effort, and I once again thank all the prominent politicians who are here today for their support, for their efforts, and for their voice. I know with people like you on our side, this time we will win. Thank you very much.
Mrs. Asimakopoulou, so proud to be coming from the same country as you. And now we have the honor to have the senator from Italy, and I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce your surname correctly, Senator Francesco Fortezzi. Thank you. This one? This one?
Thank you.
This is for
Thank you for this meeting. I'm going to speak in Italian, and so. Ok. Bene, grazie. Voglio ringraziare gli organizzatori di questo incontro, voglio ringraziare l'Associazione Ebraica Europea.
I want to thank the organizers of this event. I want to thank the European Jewish Association.
Saluto i leader ebraici che qui hanno parlato nella giornata di ieri e in quella di oggi. Voglio salutare i colleghi parlamentari che si sono alternati. Permettetemi un saluto particolare anche ai rappresentanti delle comunità ebraiche italiane che partecipano a questo incontro.
I want to thank the representatives of the Jewish communities who spoke yesterday and today, as well as the colleagues from the European Parliament, and also I want to send hello to the representatives of the Italian Jewish communities who are here today.
Sono qui nella qualità di vicepresidente della Commissione straordinaria di contrasto all'intolleranza, al razzismo, all'antisemitismo, di contrasto all'istigazione all'odio e alla violenza che da poco il Senato italiano ha istituito. Sono qui sulla delega della Presidente del Senato italiano, Maria Elisabetta Casellati.
I'm here as Vice President of the Extraordinary Committee established by the Italian Senate against hatred, discrimination and antisemitism in Italy.
Questa commissione sono convinto abbia un ruolo di particolare rilievo non solo per il Parlamento italiano, ma per gli interi Parlamenti europei, innanzitutto per la sua Presidente, la senatrice a vita Liliana Segre, per quello che Liliana Segre rappresenta come superstite dell'Olocausto, testimone della Shoah.
The president of our commission also has activities in the commemoration of the Shoah, and we have activities that come outside the boundaries of Italy that are pan-European with these purposes.
Questa commissione è stata fortemente voluta dalla senatrice Liliana Segre. Voglio ricordare a questo consesso così autorevole che Liliana Segre è diventata senatrice nel gennaio del 2018 su proposta del Presidente della Repubblica Sergio Mattarella, in una data molto simbolica, nell'80° anniversario delle ignobili leggi razziali e razziste promulgate dal fascismo in Italia.
So, vuole ripetere il nome della senatrice?
Liliana Segre.
Liliana Segre.
Sì.
The founder of this commission, she wanted very much to found it. She became a member of the Senate in January 2018, which was a very symbolical date because it was the 80th anniversary of the promulgation of racist laws in Italy in January of 1938.
Come reazione al fascismo e in particolare alle leggi razziali, dentro la Costituzione italiana c'è in particolare un articolo, l'articolo 3, che riassume i valori dell'eguaglianza e della pari dignità e dell'antidiscriminazione.
Questo non ho capito sulla legge.
Come reazione all'abominio delle leggi razziali, nella nostra Costituzione c'è l'articolo 3, forse il più importante, che riassume i valori dell'eguaglianza, della pari dignità, dell'antidiscriminazione.
So the principles of anti-discrimination and of equality are anchored in Article 3 of the current law against discrimination, which is a complete reversal of those abominable fascistic laws from the past.
La nostra Commissione lavora a stretto contatto con il coordinamento italiano presso la Presidenza del Consiglio per la strategia nazionale per la lotta all'antisemitismo, che è coordinato dalla professoressa Milena Santerini.
Our commission works in coordination with the national effort and the parliamentary effort to combat antisemitism, directed by the senator who founded the commission.
Voglio sottolineare, penso sia importante anche qui, come l'antisemitismo abbia delle peculiarità storiche, politiche, culturali e religiose molto precise, ma la lotta contro l'antisemitismo non è un interesse particolare, è interesse generale di tutto il nostro Paese ed è fondamentale per la tenuta democratica, per la coesione sociale, per la convivenza civile del nostro Paese e della nostra democrazia.
And here I want to stress that anti-Semitism has a very particular background and origin. However, the fight against anti-Semitism has nothing particular. This is a necessary part of our mutual effort to exist as a democratic and pluralistic society.
In Italia, naturalmente, ma in tutta Europa e non solo in Europa, ma particolarmente in Europa, la nostra attività di contrasto all'antisemitismo deve sempre fare i conti con la vicenda storica, Prego.
In Italy, but also outside Italy, our fight against anti-Semitism always has to take into account the general context.
Voglio qui citare alcune parole del nostro Presidente della Repubblica, Sergio Mattarella. Il fascismo come regime non ebbe alcun merito e la caccia agli ebrei non fu una deviazione di quel regime, ma fu insita nella natura violenta e intollerante del regime fascista.
I want to quote here the words of our Prime Minister in saying that anti-Semitism wasn't actually
Presidente della Repubblica.
Of the Italian Republic.
Yeah.
When he said that anti-Semitism wasn't some kind of specific manifestation of the fascism, but it was actually a direct part of that type of a regime, if I understood correctly.
Grazie. Sappiamo quanto l'antisemitismo sia un fenomeno attuale, ne abbiamo parlato in questo convegno, e sappiamo quanto sia difficile contrastare l'antisemitismo perché, come si evidenzia dal lavoro della nostra Commissione, c'è un fenomeno di under-reporting, di mancata denuncia molto spesso dei casi di antisemitismo.
We know how pertinent is the phenomenon of anti-Semitism, and we also know how difficult it is to fight it, especially as anti-Semitic incidents are underreported, and we don't know the exact extent of them.
Sappiamo la diffusione delle manifestazioni di ostilità, di minaccia, di violenza nello spazio pubblico, ma anche nello spazio politico, con il revisionismo, il negazionismo, il riduzionismo della Shoah.
We know how prevalent there are expressions of anti-Semitic hate in public spaces, in hatred, in violent attacks, but this also exists in the political sense, in the sense of reductionism and the diminution of the importance of anti-Semitism, and above everything else of the Holocaust.
Sappiamo che i fenomeni di hate crimes ed hate speech legati all'antisemitismo sono differenti, ma molto spesso si intersecano, soprattutto